So, welcome everyone. This session is being recorded, so I hope everybody's on their best behavior. So we're so pleased that you're here. Some of you have been waiting since January to see this incredible presentation, and we are pleased that you were able to join us again for this rescheduled date. I am Leslie Esslinger, and I am the Director of Education and Development at Becker School Supply. Sometimes I forget who I am. And I'm here along with this wonderful team that we put together. We call it our webinar team, but it's some folks from marketing and our education team. And we even have some of our sales account managers on hand. So if you have any questions for us, please put that in the chat during the session. And if you have any questions for Barry as we go along, it would be best and easiest for Barry to address them at the end of the session if you put those questions in the Q&A. So just to let you know, I am a believer. If you recognize that person, that's me in a very chill moment. So here you'll see that we had this wonderful model come to the studio and told her to look all relaxed and chill. So I'm not a model and I didn't have a director, but there's something about the conversation that we're going to have today that's going to let you see if you just have the right tools that you can kind of get right into this position of thinking about your needs, caring for yourself, just baby steps. So we have these cards that Barry's going to be talking about, and it's kind of one card at a time, one day at a time. And it really takes you to a new place and a new level of awareness of how important it is to take care of yourself. So we always start with a little bit of housekeeping. Yes, there will be a certificate of attendance. So everybody will get a link to this certificate. And just to remind you, when you get that link to this certificate, download it first, add your name. You can type in your name, then print it, put it in your file. It will expire in about 30 days. So please try to, as soon as you get that, you should get it tomorrow, at the latest the next day in your email. Download it, put it in your file. There will be a recording, as we said a few minutes ago. So anybody that can't stay for the full session because somebody wakes up from their nap early or whatever's going on, please know that you will also get a link to the recording. So we have a YouTube channel and that will be available to everyone. And so many resources for all of our webinars that are always available in our resource cafe at shopbecker.com. And we'll put that link in the chat. And this time, many of you are repeat customers, and we're so glad that you keep coming back and again. We usually have a poll at the end. That's really important to us, our evaluation poll. But we're going to start today with another kind of poll. We really want to know which webinar topics are important to you. So I'm just going to, if you just take a minute to think about this, and it's a ranking. So if one of these topics is something that's of great interest to you, you're going to rank it a 5. It's of very little interest to you, you can rank it a 1. And this will give us a good sense of what is important to you and what topics we will offer in the future. So if anybody on my team can let me know if the poll is up and looking good. Good. Take some time, think it through. The first one's trauma-informed care, which I know is very important to a lot of our programs. The idea of doing some more nature-based webinars, leadership webinar. We've done a few children's book author events. So if you like those, we've done Todd Parr, we've done Dan Brown, we've done blanking. It'll come to me. But if you'd like the author events, let us know. And we also thought the idea of doing something that kind of can help you improve your story times, your read alouds. Let us know if that interests you. So we'll give you a couple more minutes to think about that. We will make choices based on the feedback that we get about what to offer this spring, summer, and the coming fall. We have about 62% of the people that have responded, so that's pretty good. 30 more seconds. I know this is more of a thinking poll. It's not a simple yes or no. All right. Thanks so much. If you didn't get a chance to answer in the poll, just let us know in the chat what topics you like. Thanks for participating. We really appreciate that. All right. And now, this is always the fun part, is introducing Barry to maybe just a handful of people that don't know Barry already. Barry lives her craft. She is a mindfulness guru. She has become somebody that's a self-care mentor to so many, whether in small groups or large groups, or just when I have a one-on-one conversation with her. I always learn more and more and more about self-care. Barry, it's hard to keep up with all of her accomplishments because there's always more and more. She is now a published author. Her first book came out, I think, in the spring, Barry, and Rocket Ship Yoga. So be sure to check that out. That's at shopbecker.com. And we worked really hard on this set of self-care materials that you'll be hearing more about today. And she also has brand new music. And I think she's going to give you well, this is a tease because I think a little later she'll share that with you. So Barry, I could go on all day saying more and more and more, but let's just kind of go for it. It's all yours, Barry.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. I am so happy to see you. You really have no idea how happy I am to see you, but I am very, very happy. I'm happy to be here. I am Barry Coral. I'm a recording artist for kids and families. I'm a wellness expert, kids yoga, mindfulness. Some of you already know my work. And for those of you that are new, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here and you took this time to be here and to show up, whether you're showing up live or you're showing up later. But congratulations, because you're already making self-care a priority. So I'm thrilled for you. And we also wanted to share that today, it's really all about you. This is not about your kids. This isn't even about you being a better teacher. It's just you being a better you, a better human, filling yourself back up. And I'm going to share some pretty major tools today, and we're going to kind of really get to the root of things here. If you know me, you know that I don't like to mess around. I know that everyone only has limited time, and I'm here to really hopefully share something to help you make a shift. I do want to say that if you hear something that might be a little challenging for you, instead of just discounting it, like full out, like maybe you can just think about, well, how can I make this work for me? How can I make this work for me? Because we all have our individual things, and I want to share that with you. That's a pretty way to stay open to some of the information that you might hear today. Because you're here, you deserve this. I would love to invite you to silence your cell phone if you can. These things are a great tool, but they're a big distraction, and the zings and the pings, and it just makes our mind, it works harder. It's just too much going on. It contributes to the sense of overwhelm. So just kind of like the mind, like simplicity. And that's like one thing I'll share, just sort of one thing at a time. I have gotten better at trying to reclaim some of my pre-internet life. I'll share a few secrets with you right off the bat. I shut my phone off now by 7 p.m. Every day. I am getting better and better at putting my do not disturb on for longer periods of time. And I find that it helps me focus and stay in the moment and be with my kids and be a better role model for my children. And it takes some discipline, but the more I do it, the easier it is. I've also tried to move the location of my phone away if we're eating into different rooms, so it's not even in the same room, so it's not so tempting. So I invite you to try that. We're going to do a little bit of a casual thing today. I don't even need slides. We have these beautiful new resources that I'm so excited about. I'm going to be using our self-care cards, our beautiful new self-care cards, to start to jump in to some of this, and I'm very excited. So I don't need slides, I don't need a lot of notes, like I'm thrilled. So that's great. So I'm going to talk to you for a little while, and then I'll bring you in. I might ask you some questions, but right now I just kind of want you to relax, soak it in. This is your time. Let's go. The first resource that we're going to share is one of the most popular I've ever shared, and that I personally have used for many years. And this is Tap, Tap, Tap Your Worries Away. Tap, tap, tap your worries away. Now, I know some of us are already tapping, which is great. Some of us know a little bit about it. Some of us know nothing about it. Some of us are experts. So wherever we are, that's great. And the first step about tapping and even just understanding our emotions, and I really learned this during COVID, is accepting how we're feeling. Accepting how we're feeling. This is one of the most important things that we can learn for our own self-care, and doesn't take a lot of extra time. Accepting what we're feeling. What we resist persists. What we resist persists. And when we're having these feelings of overwhelm or anxiety or sadness or insecurity or fear, what's happening is we have our amygdala, which is part of our fight or flight survival brain. And the job of the amygdala is to be protecting us. That's what it's doing. It's constantly, this goes back to our ancestors. It's constantly looking to protect ourselves from that lion or whatever's happening. So it wants to be heard. So when we are feeling a certain way, we want to accept our feelings. And so we can do that by accepting them. But one of the things that we can do is we can do some tapping and saying accepting statements. So for example, I feel so overwhelmed right now. I feel so overwhelmed right now. I feel really overwhelmed right now. I feel really stressed right now. I feel really stressed. I feel really angry right now. I feel so angry. I'm just so mad. I spoke to a mom recently who had a pickup to do with her child, and she had a lot of, things going on with the new wife and she's just like, oh, every time I do pickup, I'm like, tap on it, tap on it. And it really helps to start to release, because the first thing that we do is that are we okay with the, yeah. The first thing that we start to do is we start to release once, you can acknowledge what's going on, the amygdala can start to release. So this is just the first step. Yes, I'm concerned about this. Yes, I'm so angry about this. Why can't I sleep? This is the first step, is just tapping or acknowledging how we're feeling. And I invite you, this is just right away, first tool in your toolbox, that this is something that you can really start to use on a regular basis. And then once we have tapped a little bit on these negative statements and we've kind of agreed with them, then we can go a little bit further and we can do some full tapping where we start to do more positive things and we start to bring ourselves into a more relaxed state. So I'm just going to give you a quick overview on tapping, and then I'm going to give you another resource if you like this, because I'm going to share a few things with you today, so I'm not going to spend too much time. But I'm going to take you through this. Just do your best. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing, and don't worry if you're not tapping in exactly the right place. We're just trying this on, especially if it's new. And again, I'm going to give you a resource. You don't need to memorize this. So the first place we tap is on the inside of the eye. And then we tap on the outside of the eye. And I do invite you to try this with me because they're meridians in the body and it's so effective. It's kind of an incredible resource under the eye. I've introduced this to so many people under the nose. They still talk about it years and years later. Under the mouth, the collarbone. I know that you guys are doing this and I'm not just tapping by myself. under the armpit, and the top of the head. So these are the meridian points that we're going to tap on. And just follow along with me. If someone's looking at you, who cares, because so we're tapping on the inside. So let's start from the beginning, and let's just start with overwhelm. Let's just say, I am overwhelmed right now. Just think of something that's kind of overwhelming to you. I'm overwhelmed. This is overwhelming to me. This is how that feels. And even though it's overwhelming, you could say this out loud or think this, even though it's overwhelming, I accept myself. I accept myself, and it's okay. It's okay. And then we tap on the inside, and you can acknowledge some things that are overwhelming right now. You can acknowledge that you might have a lot going on, and that's okay. And just noticing how that feels, like there's a lot going on. It's okay. Outside, it's okay to have these feelings. It's okay to have feelings of stress and anxiety. It's okay to have these feelings. Under the eye, you can repeat after me or think it. It's okay to have anxiety. It's okay. Under the nose, it's safe to have these feelings. It's safe. Under the mouth, it's safe to feel this way. It's safe. So on the collarbone, we can say, I acknowledge my stress. You can say this out loud or in your mind. I acknowledge my stress. Under the arm, and it's safe to begin to let it go. Top of the head, it's safe to begin to let it go. Inside of the eye, it's safe to let it go. Outside of the eye, the more that I relax, again, you're saying this out loud or to yourself. Under the eye, the more my body heals. Under the nose, the more that I relax. Under the mouth, the more my body heals. So it's safe to feel the anxiety. Under the eye, it's safe to feel the stress. Top of the head, and it's safe to begin to let it go. Inside of the eye, it's safe to let go. Outside of the eye, so I'm going to start to let it go, right? Under the eye, I'm going to start to let it go. I acknowledged it, and I'm going to start to let it go. Under the nose, under the mouth, I'm going to start to let it go. Collarbone, because it's safe to let it go. Arm, it's safe to let it go. On top of the head, so I'm letting go. And you could take a nice breath in and let it out. And a nice breath in and let it out. And take a moment and notice how you feel. Do you notice any shift? Do you notice any change? I did this for a conference of directors about a year ago, and one of them had lost their husband, and she's been tapping for a year. You can use this tapping for anxiety, tapping for weight loss, tapping for stress, tapping for sleep, tapping for overwhelm, tapping for anything that you can think of. Okay, so tapping your worries away. Going to this card, it says, even though I feel this anxiety, I accept myself. Even though I feel, fill in the blank, friends, anything. Even though I feel, I forgive myself. You can try this a few times, just even this part of the tapping. Even though I feel blank, I forgive myself. Okay. And then there's the resource if you want to know more about tapping. We recommend the Tapping Solution, which is an app or a website. So a quick question, can you think of a place or a time where that might be helpful for you? So I'm going to ask you that in the chat, how you're feeling. One of my friends said they feel a lot more relaxed, but how did that feel? And can you think of a time and a place where that might be able to be helpful to you? Even though I feel this way, I accept myself. On a plane, totally. Oh my gosh, I'm so afraid. I don't like it. I don't like it. And the amygdala is like, we don't like it. We don't like it. Yes, a 15-minute break from work. What an excellent, excellent use of a 15-minute break from work. In my classroom, before I meet with my students during break time, these are wonderful, wonderful, trying to create space before reacting to a situation, Start with my tapping every day before I meet with my students, in a room by myself, my office. Yes. When I wake up. Yes, totally. Totally. Before parents touching base. I have this parent. Oh, dealing with stress. acknowledging how we're feeling is so huge, and denying, no, what you resist persists, while doing my college assignments. So this is great. Okay, so right away we have another resource. After a long meeting, we have another resource, and this is also why I mentioned this, because when we're doing this for an hour in our lunch, we don't always feel so relaxed. Maybe if we tapped for the first 5 minutes or something. Yeah, I felt annoyed this morning. This tapping feeling helped me get rid of this annoying feeling. This is just great. Okay, so this really is so it releases so much. It's very liberating. It's really liberating. And I want to just you to have that. And I'm thrilled that you have it. Okay, so great. So awesome. So let's come out of the chat now here for a minute. Wait, there's more, but I wanted to share that beautiful resources with you. Tap your worries away. Okay, so what else do we have? Oh boy, this is so good. Some of my very, very favorites. How to become less busy, and the power of no. I make time for things that matter. These are our beautiful self-care cards that I'm referring to here. How to become less busy, the power of no. I make time for the things that matter. And when we came up with the subjects for these cards, I really wanted things that would serve us the most, and things that could really help us create a shift. So let's talk about this one a little bit. How to become less busy. So your to-do list, friends, this might be news to you. All tasks are not created equal. All tasks are not created equal on that to-do list. And by the time you get to the end of the to-do list, we only have so much mental energy. We only have so much, in the tank. By the time you get to the very end, you have the least amount in there. So we want to prioritize things on our to-do list. And here is my suggestion, my invitation for you. Here we go. The things that fill us up, the things that make us feel good, the things that give back to us, that renew us, become the first thing on the list and not the last thing on the list. What do you think about that? What do we think about that? I've heard it said it's like we have inherited a Puritan work ethic, which is work, 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 and then taking care of us is the last thing. And it's like, no, it's not working, right? We're burning out, we're tired, we have a lot that we're dealing with. We've got a sort of a world that's moving a little bit faster than it used to, it's not serving anybody. We have less energy for our kids, and less energy for our staff, and less energy for our family, and yada, yada, yada. So we have to start looking at that list and prioritizing the first thing, or the top thing. What is going to revive me? What is going to calm me? What is going to fill me back up? Okay. So I have a coaching client who's building her business, and, we're meeting about building her business. And we put quality family time at the very top of her list, of her to-do list. And she's like, I could do that. And I'm like, absolutely. Isn't that what life is about? Isn't that what we're on this planet for? Of course, quality family time is going to fill you up for all the other things that you have to do. Okay, you can't do the other things at the expense of the things that are going to make you happy. Does that make sense? So what do you think about that? Prioritizing your own healthcare and your own self-wellness. I think that's really important. The other thing that some of us have, my client has, is a hard time saying no. A hard time saying no. And friends, that just takes away from the real areas of joy and focus, and it really depletes us. All right. So how to become less busy? Try saying this affirmation. I make time for the things that matter. Try saying that to yourself. I make time for the things that matter. Try it and see what happens. The bad news is time flies. The good news is you're the pilot. Okay. Good stuff. Good stuff. The power of no is so powerful. I want you to start to use this word more so that you have more time for your own love and your own self-care. The power of no. So listen to this. If you want to know your future, look at your present. Okay. If you want to know your future, look at your present. Anything that you say yes to right now is what you'll be doing later. Okay. So all the things that you say yes to that maybe you don't really want to be saying yes to, just the way we prune plants to keep them healthy, we can prune our calendar to create space to prioritize our own joy, rest, and recovery. What do you think, friends? What do we think? And here's the secret. You really have to do it. That's the secret. You can listen and be like, yeah, I should do that, but you really have to look at that list. You have to look at your list and you start to say to yourself, I have to prioritize what's going to fill me up. Because if I can't keep going, how am I going to help anyone else? I can't help anyone else, totally. So if you're someone who struggles with that time management, if you're someone who struggles with prioritizing self-care, you can start to use that affirmation. I make time for the things that matter. Affirmations are magic. I make time for the things that matter. And you start to see what happens, okay? And a lot of this, good, I'm glad this is resonating. A lot of this is new to us, prioritizing ourselves. Again, we've been sort of brainwashed about work, and we come last. So we have a lot to undo, okay? So Alexandra, as a teacher, it's difficult to say no. I get that, right? And I appreciate you sharing some of your in the ways here today, friends, because I can help speak about that a little bit. I get that as a teacher, right? And then we give, and then we give, and then we give, and we give, and we give. And what's left? What's left for us, But that feeling when we feel so taken care of, we just have so much more energy for other people. So it's a practice. We have a lot to undo, okay? So again, a lot of this is new to us, prioritizing our self-care and thinking about ourselves coming first. But here's the secret. Whenever you want to undo something or try something new, it takes time. It takes practice. So if you're having a hard time saying no, it's going to take a little bit of practice because old patterns are strong, friends. You've been not saying no for a long time. And it takes, just a little bit. Just add a little bit of no into your diet. You don't have to say no to everything, but try it, Okay, so I like this just so much, and I do this. I've been much more selfish with my time, and it's really given me a lot. And not only has it given me a lot, it's given my family a lot, People feel guilty when they say no. Thank you for that, Cynthia. Why? Because wouldn't it be better to be a better Cynthia? Wouldn't that be a great thing for people? To like everyone on your staff and everyone in your classroom and your family, because you're spending more time giving this time to yourself. All right. So yes, taking care of yourself is not selfish, it's selfless. And this is a belief, and it takes a little bit of time. Again, how can I make this work for me? That's why I said that in the beginning, because it's like, how do I make this work for me? And I also want to share with you, it's like life is like a steering wheel, okay? We've had these patterns for a really long time. So we're kind of always driving like this, or always driving like this. And I know how some of us are feeling, friends, like, ooh, doggy, this is a little challenging. What happens is when we start to kind of do these new things, like we prioritize self-care, we tap a little bit on our lunch hour, we forgive ourselves, we tell ourselves that we make time for the things that matter, we start to move a little bit to the right, but it takes time because the brain is like, no, this is the way we drive. So every time we turn in this direction, we start to create new habits and new patterns. And that's what it takes. It takes repetition. And eventually, this is what you do without even thinking about it. Okay. So it just takes a little bit of time. Thank you. Words of wisdom. I appreciated that. So I want to give you just a little bit of science about one of the things that hold us back so much. And that's our negativity bias, where we have a tendency to just focus on negative things. And this is part of our survival, right? We needed to remember where the lion was and our ancestors. Otherwise, there was nothing left to do. So we always had to remember the negative things. But this is really making us miserable in present day. I mean, we just cannot stop focusing on what didn't go well with our negativity bias. And I also want to tell you that's not your fault. Guess what? It's not your fault. It's the way our brains are wired. Not your fault. Okay. And it starts so young. We've been dealing with this for so long with negativity bias, with remembering negative things over positive things and expecting negative things. We've been doing this for so long. My kids, when they were 12, we went to Roatan during COVID in Honduras for 3 months. And we had a couple fights there. We had a few fights. We had a few, it was tense in Honduras during COVID, and with 12-year-olds, you can imagine. But we did incredible things. We went sailing and we went snorkeling and we met new people and we helped a school and we had just all these incredible experiences for 3 months. And when it was time to go away again, they didn't want to go away because all they remembered were the fights. They're like, we fight a lot. I'm like, we fight a lot? We had 3 months. We had 3 or 4 fights. In 3 months, we did this and this and this and this and blah, blah, blah. They remembered the fights. It starts so early, negativity bias. So again, we have a lot to undo. And that's why, the steering wheel is just like kind of made to go this way, and we have to counteract it this way. We have to counteract it. And how do we do that? We do that by all the things that we're talking about today. Everything that we're talking about is a way to counteract that, okay? So how about this one? This is a great one. Soothe your inner critic. Soothe your inner critic. Does anyone have an inner critic here? Just curious, just asking for a friend. Soothe your inner critic. And I'm going to read this verbatim on the back of the card. You can tell there's text. The number one way to create more happiness and less stress is to start paying attention to the conversations you're having with yourself. We tend to talk to ourselves very negatively. Bum, bum, bum. It's not your fault. We have inherited a stress, culture, and negativity bias. And that's why we can't forget that bad comment. That's why we can't forgive ourselves. That's why we can't fill in the blank, okay? So I have a question for you. Why do we talk to ourselves so negatively? Can you tell me in the chat? Why do we talk to ourselves so negatively? Why? Tell me why. In the chat, why do we talk to ourselves so negatively? Come, friends. Lack of luck. Okay. I'm my own biggest critic. Yes. Why do we talk about self-doubt, unworthy, high expectations? Some of us just see the bad in us, low self-esteem, easier to see the negative, etc. Own worst critic, very hard, self-doubt, want to do better. Okay. Okay, leftover trauma. What about negativity bias? Do you think that's possible? Maybe one of the reasons? And let me ask you something. Is negativity bias our fault? Is it our fault? If we have a bias towards negativity for survival, is it our fault? Not our fault. How do we change it? How do we change it? We change it by turning the wheel. Okay, it feels so natural to focus on what goes wrong because this is how we drive. We drive with our negativity bias. Okay, does this look familiar? Ooh. Okay, every time we do this work, every time you think about what could go right, every time you pat yourself on the back, whoop, every time you start to talk to yourself a little bit more kinder, whoop, every time you affirm how you're feeling, whoop, every time you forgive yourself for how you're feeling, whoop, that's what happens. That's what happens. So soothe your inner critic. Okay, you can try some simple affirmations to turn the wheel and help lead your inner thoughts from critic to pivot. Start to say to yourself, oh, well, okay. I'm doing a webinar today for 1,000 people between here and recorded, and my hair is green. Oh, well, I don't know. Oh, well, I forgive myself. Gave you these affirmations. Oh, well, I forgive myself. So last night we had a fight with the kids. Haven't had a fight in a long time. Lost temper. Everyone's crying. Everyone was upset. You know, it's upsetting. Forgive myself. I forgive myself. I forgive my husband. Things really, how does that feel? Right? Not, oh, you're so stupid. Why did you? You're such an idiot. Why? Change doesn't come from hate. It comes from love. Motivation comes from love. Of the green hair. Yeah, I like the green hair. Whatever. Oh, well. So, I forgive myself. I am constantly forgiving myself. When I became a parent and I adopted 2 girls from trauma, please, I'm forgiving myself all the time. I'm in front of people. I'm doing things. I'm taking chances. I am constantly forgiving myself. It's okay. It's okay. What a great affirmation. It's okay. I'm feeling this way and I'm feeling this way and feeling this way. Start to say to yourself, it's okay. It's okay. Yeah, retraining the brain. That's exactly what we're doing. We're creating new neurotransmitters. We are literally rewiring the brain. Yes, literally rewiring the brain. I'm gonna give myself a break today. I'm gonna give myself a break today. Watch what happens. I'm not gonna, just kill myself over this today. I'm going to give myself a break. Or there might be another affirmation for you. Another affirmation that I use with parenting a lot is this will pass. There was so much tension in the house yesterday after a fight. And I was like, I forgive myself. It's hard. This will pass. This will pass. It'll pass. Okay. So soothing your inner critic, the number one way to create more happiness and less stress is to start paying more attention to the conversations you have with yourself. We tend to talk to ourselves very negatively. It's not your fault. We have inherited a stress culture and negativity bias, and you can try to turn the wheel and pivot from inner critic with a few affirmations. Oh, well, I forgive myself. It's okay. I'm going to give myself a break. It's okay to make mistakes. Yep, this is only temporary. Totally. Totally. Love it, right? Good. Excellent. See, yeah. Good. My friend is saying that she prioritizes her children over herself, and it's not always sustainable. I just feel like I have so much more to give to my kids when I take care of myself. Truly. Yeah. We can do this for everyone but ourselves. Yeah. We have to start to really come first. We have to look at that list and prioritize. The good news, friends, is that we can retrain the brain. So I want you to listen to this, because this really is the good news. We can retrain the brain. And why should we? Why should we even bother? Why? Because time is precious. Time is the one thing that you never get back. Okay, so all the time, how do you want to live, your one and only life, right? So we can't get back our time. And if we're wasting time punishing ourselves and giving us a hard time and not being able to forgive ourselves and not being able to move on, is this really the best way to live our one and only life? Every time you turn the wheel, it is science. It's dopamine. Every time you start to do more for yourself, every time you start to give yourself a break, every time you start to forgive yourself, every time you're easier on yourself, you're turning the wheel and you're creating new patterns and you're getting dopamine, which is motivating, which helps you keep going. It's when this is so low motivating. Oh, you're such an idiot. You never do anything right. This is motivating. And we are literally creating new neural pathways. The more that you think a thought, the more that you do a behavior, the quicker it comes, okay? Quicker it comes. That's how we do it. I'm going to give myself a break. Unfortunately, some people stop just when they're blooming, just when they're ready. They're just like, oh, this is too hard. Zoom. Okay. Zoom. So you really do have to do this stuff and you have to practice. My hope here is to really help you prioritize taking care of you. Yeah. Okay, good. So think about that. Why? I always feel like I'm quicker to forgive others than I am to forgive myself. What? How's that? Can you walk a little bit more? Can you forgive yourself a little bit more? And how do you forgive yourself? You have to practice. repetition, 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 because we've been driving like this. Remember that wheel. All right. I am just so glad that I have these cards. I really have to say, I had a whole self-care curriculum that I used to do in my webinars. And I'm like, how is anyone going to remember some of this? So I hope a few of you pick these up because I'm so proud of them. I'm just going to share a couple more resources and then I have a little something for you. This is a good one. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Let's see this like little bird from our friend Nikki Miles. Here's the bad news. You cannot control other people. You can't control traffic, the weather, or other acts of nature. But here's the good news. You can control your words, actions, behavior, attitude, perspective, focus, effort, and energy. You're also in control of how you respond to circumstances as they occur. So take that in, take that in. So it's so helpful to know what we are in control of. And this is another affirmation that says, peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. You know, it's not up to me if this plane's gonna be on time. I don't have any control of that. You know, I do a lot of presentations and sometimes, you know, I used to wonder like, oh, you know, are they gonna like, is this gonna lead to things? Are they gonna buy albums and stuff? I don't know. I'm not in control of any of that. I'm only in control of myself. I started to say the fruits of my labor are not my concern. I just have to worry about what I do. Peace begins with me. That's all I can do. So I can do this. So I like this one a lot. We can't change others, right? When we have some relationships that are really challenging, we can't change them. We can change us. We can try to choose different ways to think about that or put ourselves in an entirely different situation. All right, peace begins with us. And here's another one going along those lines. Wouldn't it be lovely? Wouldn't it be lovely? Instead of wondering and what ifing everything to death, what if I do this trip? What if the plane is late? What if this doesn't work out? What if it doesn't, oh gosh, what if it's a mess? What if I'm da da da? Wouldn't it be lovely if it worked out? Wouldn't it be lovely if there was no traffic? Wouldn't it be lovely if the flight was on time? Wouldn't it be lovely if I got along with this child today or with this parent today? Yes. Rashida is saying these are essential tools for our personal growth. Agreed. They have not taught us this in school. And this is what we needed to learn. This is certainly what I needed to learn. You know, I didn't know this stuff beforehand, friends. I was the biggest negative thinker that you could imagine. So, Norah Jones, my ex-boyfriend discovered Norah Jones, and I'm sitting there as a musician playing for 11 people, and Nora's like playing stadiums. And for years, it was just poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me, poor me. I was just driving like this. I had no idea that there was all of this stuff. I had no idea. It was just poor me, so negative. No idea that my thoughts mattered. Always never motivating myself because I was such an idiot. And then someone gave me the wheel. Someone gave me, this is all the wheel. This is all the wheel. Everything in here is the wheel. Someone gave me the wheel. And I just practiced repetition. And now here I am. This is how I drive. I just drive like this. That's how I drive. It's awesome. Oh, friends are asking about the cards, and Leslie's going to tell you how to get them. They're at Becker's. So we're excited. They're brand new. All right. So I just want to wrap this part by telling you and reminding you, oh, hey, Dolly, that most people have few moments where they feed and nurture their souls. And many of us feel like we're enduring life rather than really living it and enjoying it. And unless I know that some of you are already asking about this stuff, and that's great, but we have to be deliberate. We have to be intentional. We have to be consistent to reverse, and so that we can drive towards this joy. Okay. You're in charge of your life, friends, and you write the rules that you want to follow. Okay. So you have every right to write the life that you want. Wanting it is not enough. Watching this webinar is not enough. You're going to do it. We're going to use these tools and keep practicing and keep taking action because you deserve it. We all deserve it. We deserve your happiness. We deserve your relaxation. We deserve you feeling good about you. We all deserve that, and you deserve that. Okay.
Battery, 30%.
Thank you for
Netflix,
listening. I wanted to
30%.
share, I have a new
Netflix,
album,
MacBook Air 4.
Breathe, Stretch, and Roar Like a Dinosaur. That's an album and a download card and a beautiful booklet. And it is coming out very soon. Thank you. And this is one of the songs I wrote, which I could never have written this song 20 years ago. But now that the wheel is like this, I can sing the same thank you song. So it also teaches children how to sing thank you in 9 languages. So if you want to just sing along with me and say thank you, I want to just say thank you and share this with you so we can have some fun. When I think about my life and the ones who make it nice, I love my family and the friends I get to see. To the ones I'll never meet, we're connected, you and me. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you to be for growing food for me. Thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you. Can you sing with me? When I think about our land, so magical and grand, the canopy of trees and the feeling of the breeze, sand beneath my feet by an ocean wide and deep. And I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for the languages we eat and the food that we eat. Thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you to a little bird, to the bird that sings, for the big and small things. Stick around for some questions and answers. I think about me, these eyes that can see, this heart that can love, these arms that can hug, this mind that can dream of all the things that I can be. Well, I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, little seed, thank you, giant tree, thank you, thank you. I just want to say thank you. I thank you. Thank you. I just want to say thank you. I just want to say thank you. Oh God, you guys rock. Let's answer some questions. Leslie can show you about the cards. So glad that you guys were here. Thank you.
Thank you, Barry. That was great. And some of the comments, I mean, we're also just enriched the experience so much for the attendees because they were chatting internally. I know, Barry, you were trying to follow along. It was great. So we just want to take a few quick minutes to let you know Beckers and Barry worked on putting these cards and resources together for well over a year. And we think they are quite valuable. I keep them on my desk and I have one waiting for me every morning. This was my one today. And so this is the item number. They are available at shopbecker.com. We think it's a great gift for your staff. It's a great thing to have for parents, teachers, whoever. So aside from the set of cards, and there are 24 of these cards, and each one, as Barry demonstrated pretty well, has information on the back that really talks about the science behind why these strategies work. So the other thing we did, and we talked to our advisory group and had some suggestions, we put together a set of posters that we think would be great in a staff room We took 6 of the cards. It was hard to pick our favorite 6. And we decided, okay, we can move into the 21st century. There's a QR code on there. And so if these are in your staff room, if you have that 15-minute break and no longer, even if you have just a 2-minute break, this is a great thing to do. And I'm going to show you how they work. So you use the QR code, and then you're going to have Barry
An
live.
escalated adult never de-escalated a child. Boy, is that the truth. Thank you so much for being here. I'm Barry. I'm here for your wellness today. Thank you for joining me. So a few things about this. You know, friends, we all lose our temper. Sometimes things just get to be too much and we get activated. Of course we get activated. So we kind of need to forgive ourselves a little bit when these things are coming up. But then we can work on the skill of catching our trigger and our reaction. So there actually is a little bit of space when we start to pay attention between our trigger and our reaction. And escalate.
So we're not going to play the full thing, but we just wanted to give you the idea that if these are in your staff room and somebody has 2 minutes and they need a little Barry time, a little bit of nurturing, these posters work great for that. And then, of course, when we put it together as a full set, you can get the posters and the cards. So there's the item number, shopbecker.com. These are available to you now. After this, we were giving Barry a couple minutes to look through some questions that she can address. So we're going to let Barry.
Yeah, I'd love to know if there's any, just reading your comments or about the cards, or if there are any in the ways that I could help you with. I am really proud of these cards. Again, this has been studying this work for a really long time. This is definitely the things that I wish that I knew. So I'm glad that, everyone's so interested. I am on Instagram and Facebook under Barry Coral. Thank you, Rashida. And your administrators, they can get in touch with me. I have programs for the whole staff, like Peaceful Preschool, that would include the cards for everybody, include yoga and mindfulness training for your staff and your kids. That's great. And, maybe I'll talk about how to use the cards. Let's assume that you're going to get them, or some of us are going to get them. I've been giving them as gifts to everyone. I'll just tell you, I bought 40. So I've been giving them as gifts myself, but there's really no wrong way to work on, you can just choose one, like at random. You can choose one, especially if you have an area that you really need to work on, like maybe no is a place that takes time for you, or maybe you really kind of want to explore the tapping a little bit. You can do the same thing every day for a week. There's really no wrong way to use them. The only the best way is just to use them. So one reason why we did this whole thing, Leslie said once, the classroom is ready to go. You've done everything. Are you ready? And these are all just about you. We really care about you. I think you know that. So yeah.
Barry, a couple questions came up since we have a few more minutes before we wrap. A couple questions came up in the beginning. I think people were really fascinated by the tapping. And I know that one question that's sitting here was, how long do you tap? So when you're doing the different.
Yeah. So again, the tapping solution is something that you can use as a really good option. But this one, I mean, gosh, this could be 30 seconds or 45 seconds or something like this. And then these could be, anywhere from 3 minutes to some are, if you listen to some of those pre-recorded tapping scripts, some of them could be 30 minutes, 15 minutes, but generally when I'm tapping, I tend to do about 3 minutes or something like that. These cards are so positive and great daily motivation for all my classes. I need to depart to another class. Yeah, thank you. Good times. Thank you, everybody.
So if a couple more questions can be typed in the Q&A for Barry, and while people might be doing that, I'm going to see if I have more success with the second poll. I'm so sorry. It sounds like I didn't leave it on long enough, or I didn't make it large enough. So this is our evaluation poll, which is really important to us. So if everybody could just take a minute, I'm going to put this up. And if anybody on my team could just put on their mic and let me know if there's a problem with it. Let me just find the right poll, and then we can go from there. All right, we don't want that poll. We already did that one. Now I'm not even finding my evaluation poll, so I'm really not having any success today with my polls. Where are you? I don't want to. Don't want to relaunch
Can I answer
that
this
poll.
question about tapping
Please,
while you do that?
please go right
Okay.
ahead.
So, and first of all, I see people are finding me on Instagram and that's so much fun. Thank you. I'd love to interact. So tapping, these are meridian points. So these are certain energy meridian points in the body, and that's why that they're so effective. I also just even find this like right on the karate part. Just every time I do it, I'm like, wow. So yeah. One of the best self-help webinars I've done. Oh, Gina, you rock. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, honey. It was so nice to have you here. Such great tips. Good people.
I did just get that poll up. Thank you so much. And actually, Barry, I'm going to use one of your tips right now because I'm really criticizing myself. Like, oh, why couldn't I find this poll? What did I do wrong? And I went right there. So I'm going to stop that and I'm going to say, it's okay. I'm going to forgive myself. It's okay. I don't think anybody's going to hold it against me. So I'm already putting it into practice.
That makes me very happy.
Yeah,
Awesome.
it makes me feel better too. I just was ready to beat myself up.
Yeah. I'm happy to answer another question or two or just read your feedback. So great workshop. Awesome. Great webinar and team. You guys going to keep going with this? You're going to keep working on this? You're going to keep steering your wheel? Love more of self-care webinar. I want to know, you're going to do the driving? We're going to drive left. Just came back from St. John. Yes, I have a YouTube channel. Thank you, Maya. YouTube, Barry Coral. We just hit 560,000 subscribers. Kids yoga and
My
mindfulness.
gosh, that's amazing. Barry,
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Wow, wow.
That, that was like, I had to be like, I could do this, I can do this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're very lucky that Barry is a good friend to Becker's, and we've been working together for quite a while now, and it's been great. I know that our customers really appreciate it.
Beautiful. Awesome. Yes, look me up. Sounds great. BarryCoral.com and also Instagram, and send your administrators to me. We'll get everybody a card. Awesome, friends.
Absolutely. Okay, a couple more seconds to fill out this poll. It's a quick evaluation poll. We collect these. This is important for our data. Barry appreciates the feedback.
I really needed this today. Life gets hectic, needed to feel the love. We hope you felt the love. So glad you were here. And also, yeah, you can send a link to your friends if there was anyone that needs to see this. You're going to get a replay link. It's also on the Becker's YouTube channel. Yeah.
So we always like to end with letting you know what's next. So we try to do a webinar a month as best we can. And coming up in April, we have our backyardists coming back, the importance of sensory play. So we hope that many of you will be able to join us for that. You can go to shopbecker.com and sign up. Next week, we will be sending out an email about it. Just to remind everyone again that you will receive an email tomorrow, which includes a link to your certificate, a link to the recording, and a reminder about how you can get these cards, these posters, how you can get in touch with Barry. So everything you need to know will be sent to you tomorrow or the next day. We will also be sending an email to anybody that registered that was not able to attend, or if you weren't able to stay for the full session, you will also get those folks, if those happen to be friends or colleagues of yours, they will also get a link to the recording. So we really want as many people as possible to take advantage of this information. We care about you. As Barry said, we really, really do. And as our CEO always likes to say, when he ends a meeting a little bit early, I'm going to give you 2 minutes of your life back. So we really wrapped just a couple minutes early. So everybody can, we'll stay here for a few minutes. You can continue to write in the chat. Barry, I don't
Yes,
think
Driving left. Drive left. Thank you, everybody. I'm so glad you're here. Feel good. Think good thoughts.
Breathe deep. I hope everybody has a great afternoon or evening. Our friend in Saudi Arabia might be already past your bedtime.
Thank you again for being here, everybody. Drive left.